you got going in net tonight?
Dustin Wolf.
Jacob back up?
Yes.
We've seen a fair bit of Dustin, but how have you liked his sort of progress from training camp till now?
He's been good, and every time he plays, whether for us or for the American League team, he gives team a chance to win. So we don't expect anything different from him tonight.
What can he take from watching? Like, obviously the frames are so much different, but what can he take from what he sees Jacob do?
Well, we all know what Jacob's done this year, and whether it's Dustin or Vladdy, I think there's a recognition on both of their parts that there's an elite goaltender and then there's a goaltender. So they get an opportunity to watch how he goes about his day-to-day basis or day-to-day routine, and whether that's in the dressing room or on the ice for practice. And when you're a younger goalie, like both of them are, you can't help but notice the things that he does really well and how he puts a lot of pressure on himself to make sure he's the best that he can be every day. So that's something that will rub off on those guys most definitely.
Ryan, going back to Monday, Martin Pospisil's hit number certainly jumps off the sheet when you look at it. I'm just curious from your perspective what you've seen of him lately in terms of how he's maybe sort of getting under the skin of his opponents.
Yeah, and you look in the Boston game as well. Like, he gets kicked out, and I don't necessarily think he should have been kicked out that game, but he's starting to become, what we knew he was from, years prior at this level. So that's part of a player feeling like now he fully belongs here. So we're starting to see him be a little bit more of who he is and how he has to play the game, and he's effective that way. One on that line, we know what he does on that line, the pace that he plays with, but he's also dragging guys into the game now, which is important for our team.
Where are the Sharks dangerous?
A lot of different places. They play the game with a lot of speed. They're a team that, they come to the rink every day pushing to win games and to get points, and they play free. So that makes them a very dangerous team.
The first game back after a road trip can be tricky for any team. What do you have to do to avoid those?
It's mindset and mentality. That's all it is. So we're in a situation where we need to play our best game every night to get points, and this is no different whether we're in New York or whether we're in Calgary. We have to make sure we're ready to play.
Right. Kevin Rooney waited 13 months to prove he could be an NHLer again. How have you seen him sort of seize this opportunity so far?
Over the summer, it started with him. We've talked a lot about Jacob, over the last few months with his summer. But Kevin changed everything. People don't know that about him. Instead of going back to Boston, he went to L.A. So he flipped everything around. So he trained and worked out in L.A. to give himself a different feel or a different environment to make sure he came back ready to play. And when he showed up for camp, he was a different person. His mindset was different. I think he felt really good about where he was at, and unfortunately, sometimes it happens for whatever reason. Players get injured like that, and a little bit of a setback for him. But I don't think that changed his mentality. And I also think, as we've talked about before, having Pelch around to go through the same thing with him was big for them to keep pushing him along. But he's come back knowing the type of player that he has to be. So he deserves a ton of credit for how he handled himself over the summer and what he did to put himself in a position to have impact like he is having right now.
It's a really interesting way to look at it. Like, lots of people talked about him getting back to the player he used to be, but it sounds like he wanted to just kind of flip a totally new page.
Yeah, I think, and a lot of that goes to the work the guys put in with him last year with the Wranglers. Like, they kind of rebuilt him to the point where he was comfortable and confident with how he had to play the game. So whether you call it a fourth line center, whatever the term you want to put on it, they have to be guys that can win faceoffs. They have to be guys that hopefully could kill penalties for you, and they have to be a reliable person that plays the game with pace. He's all of that. What he didn't do last year was have the confidence to hold on to the puck a lot. It was off his stick before he had it, and a lot of times totally different this year, and that's from the work he put in last year with the Wranglers.
He credits a phone call you made to him in the summer about letting him know that there was a chance, another opportunity here. He felt like maybe he was not going to get that chance prior to that phone call. He was wondering about it. Do you remember sort of the gist of that conversation that call you placed
Sure.
to him?
That's where he told me that he was flipping everything around to spend his summer in LA away from his family, what he's done for his whole career. So he's a good man. So we're happy that he's having success right now.